As we all know by now, AI is transforming the business world, giving seasoned industry experts the tools to launch their own companies faster than ever. For more, I'm joined in the studio, Janet Moeller from Teacher PA and also Janet Consulting. Great to see you again.
Great to see you again.
Talk to us about how industry experience can give someone a bit of a head start when starting a business.
Well, there's nothing like lived experience. So if you think about the young 20-year-olds trying to find market research, they can ask questions to try to find pain points, but they haven't actually lived the pain points.
Of course.
So when you come in with industry experience and you do those interviews, you're asking the interviewee not only about the pain point, but how that's affected them personally. That really gets to the heart of the issue of what you're trying to develop.
And I guess that idea of launching a business can be quite challenging for a lot of people, pretty scary as well.
It is.
But the more experience you have, the more downside that you've experienced and been resilient through, well, maybe not easier, but perhaps the more encouraged you'll be to take the risk, right?
Absolutely. When you know the pain point and you've lived through it for so long, you're very motivated.
Look at us sitting here, just kind of half laughing, half terrified at our memories, right?
Absolutely. And I start thinking about the younger generations too coming up and not wanting them to have to live through the same pain points.
Good luck with that. I mean, we all have to, right? But they're usually different. History rhymes. What strategies do you think and market research makes it easier for new founders?
Well, for new founders, there's the market research, but I guess for me as a founder, the hardest thing was to take the picture in my mind of what the solution could be and communicate that to a coder who doesn't understand the industry experience. So
you're in your head, but they're not in your head, but you need them to get it out of your head.
Absolutely, and we'd go back and forth, and I'm also not an artist, so I couldn't draw it on paper and show them what I was thinking about and how I thought that it might operate.
So what do you do?
So now there's something called vibe coding, which I was very afraid of until just a couple months ago because I heard the word coding and thought I'm not a coder. But just recently I was working with a group of science teachers who were playing with vibe coding. I was showing them how, well, to explain vibe coding, you might want to think of ChatGPT, and you know that little context window where you start typing or putting your voice in with instructions. Vibe coding looks just like that.
Right.
So these science teachers were saying, make us an interactive game that can help students understand how parallel circuits work. And then they hit the enter button, and there's this whole cascade of code that starts coming through. And they're really surprised to see it the first time, as we all are. And they went and they got a cup of coffee, and they come back, and there's this web page that's all set up for them.
But I guess the thing is, it's about communication, is what we're saying here, right? And it's about trying to find tools ourselves to be able to communicate simpler and better, because quite often it is simple. We've just wrapped it up and made it an enigma.
It can be. So the way I work in my business now is if I have an idea, I vibe code a page or two, and then I give it to my CTO and can you make this for real?
I really love the idea of vibe coding. It reminds me of that scene from The Castle where they're talking about the vibe of the Constitution as a legal kind of way to win here, right?
Yep.
So how can it speed up the ideation process? So when we're talking about ideas, how can vibe coding actually speed up the process?
It can help you as an industry expert or as the domain expert better understand yourself, what it is that you want to create, and then you could go back and forth with the AI until it matches what you had in your mind originally. And then from there you can give it to your programmer or your CTO, and it just makes the whole process quicker.
Because we don't often work on our own, even though as founders that quite often is how it starts. But when you bring people along, you kind of need a bit of an academy, right? You need to be able to show people what you're talking about. So explain the peer-to-peer conversations and how that helps to shape both marketing and sales.
Yeah, well, once you have the ideation and you've built the product, you have to sell it. And I guess being that domain or that industry expert, it's not a sales conversation, it's a peer-to-peer conversation, and it's with empathy.
And it so often is. I mean, the best sales is peer-to-peer and empathy, as opposed to me trying to sell someone on something they don't even understand, right? If they don't understand it, it's not going to get very far.
Yeah. One of the things that I tell the principals and the teachers I work with is this is what I wanted in my school. This is what I would have wanted in my classroom. And that makes a big difference.
And that is your industry experience coming to the fore there as well. How important has that journey been for you?
Hugely important to see it develop. So I never imagined what was possible. I started with the pain point and knew what I had in my mind. It was about 10 years ago where I started dreaming of teachers working with an agent and the agent dealing with all the platforms and taking care of a lot of the admin work, which is what we've been developing and finishing up.
Just before we go, how can people find out more from you, Janet?
Sure. For me personally as a consultant, it's janetmoeller.com. For the product we're building is teacherpa.com.au.
Well, we always love your insights and having you here at Ticker, so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.